keep seeing these videos pop up on my YouTube feed about how much money I made in my first 90 days on YouTube or something. And I watch these videos and I'm like, some of them are realistic. Some of them I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends what niche you're in. But for me, that has not been my experience. So I want to show you my experience as somebody who's been on YouTube for 7 years now, how much I've actually made on YouTube. And not only that, but I should probably explain my channel here. So let me just show you my channel so that you know what niche I'm in. So my channel is all about worship leading. And essentially what that is people who lead worship in church. So it's like this guy right here. He's leading the music on Sunday. Now, even more specifically, though, there are different niches within worship leading where you can talk about guitars and you can talk about sound gear and you can talk about all this stuff. That's not what I talk about. I talk about the theological side of leading worship, so it's even more like ethereal, and it's not like, hey, go buy this guitar or something. So now you know what niche I'm in, and that's going to translate to how much money I've actually made on YouTube in terms of AdSense. So let's start. I started all the way back. I said I've been doing this for 7 years. Let's start all the way back in 2019. Are you ready for me to reveal how much I made? I started in April of 2019, and here's what I made the first year of YouTube. Right here, $20.28. So I posted my first real video back here on, I guess, April 25th, but that one wasn't really a real video that I consider. I consider this one my first real video, so April 26th, and it looks like I finally got monetized back in December. And so however many months that is, that's how long it took me to get monetized. May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So it took me like 8 months to get monetized back in 2019. I think things are a little bit different today. And so maybe you're able to get monetized faster. But long story short, after 8 months, 9 months, I made $20 on YouTube. Now, that was just me starting out on YouTube. Let's go to the next year and we'll switch over to all of 2020, the year of the famous COVID, where everybody was online. How much do you think I made in my first full year on YouTube? Let's see. I made $1,000 basically. And mind you, this is an entire year. I made $1,000, and most of that honestly came, I had like a big, you can see I switched over to my views here. This is directly proportionate to my views. I had one video that took off, and a lot of the AdSense money that I made was from that. And then from there, it kind of got a little bit lower. And by the way, I should mention that I was posting maybe 3 times a week at this point. And so let's move on to 2021 and see where I ended up after 2 years on YouTube. So I just made $1,000 per year in 2020 in YouTube AdSense. This time I made $1,400. So we're going up a little bit. In 2021, I made $400 extra dollars. Let's head over to 2022. What's your guess? Ooh, this year I made $1,000 more. I made almost $2,500 in YouTube AdSense revenue. By the way, at the end of this video, I'm going to show you what I made combined over my 7 years. But let's go to 2023. And in 2023, I think this was one of my top years. I made $2,800 in YouTube AdSense. Now, I don't know how that sounds to you. I mean, it sounds nice to make $2,800 extra dollars, but is that really that much money for all the work that I spent? I mean, look at all these videos I put out. These are all the videos that I put out. I put out a ton of videos, and I made $2,800 that year. But there's a secret that I'm going to share at the end of this video about how I didn't actually just make $2,800. I actually made a lot more than that. So that was 2023. We're getting close here to 2025, which is the last full year that we can look at. I actually typed in the wrong number here. So I did not make $5,000 in 2024. That was both years. All right. So in 2024, this was my highest year. I made $2,800 in AdSense revenue. And I had one video that absolutely blew up that year where I was getting like typically I get like 1,500 views per day, it looks like. But this time I got 12,000 views. So pretty crazy. I mean, how much did that add? That was like maybe a couple extra $100 right there. So you can see if you do have a video blow up like that, then I mean, I probably made $300 dollars from that video or something. But as you can see, as I'm working my way through this, that doesn't happen very frequently, and it doesn't feel very controllable. So let's move to the final year to look at, which is 2025, and we'll see what I made this past year. So keep in mind, I had that video that kind of blew up, and I made $2,800 that year. Last year, I made $1,700. So it was literally down $1,000. And that brings up the question, if you're on YouTube, how can you figure out what your income is going to be every year? Because it seems like it goes back and forth. It's not like this continual upwards trend of just going up and up and up. That would be really nice, but that's not actually how it works. And so I'm going to share with you what not just my YouTube income was, but what my income actually was through all of my income streams, and you're going to see that this one is actually the smallest income stream. But let's just look at what I've made over the past, I guess technically it would be 6 years because I'm not talking about this year. If we start all the way back on January 1st, 2019 to 2025, this is a full 6 years. In total on YouTube, I've made $12,300. Now, like I said, that's $12,300 over the course of 6 years. So that is not that much money if you spread that out over the course of 6 years. So that averages out to like $2,000 a year. Now, is $2,000 a year nice to have? Of course it's nice to have. Is it nice to have for all the work that I put in? Not necessarily, but let's talk about all the work that I put in, because a lot of the work that I put in was actually wasted. I wasted so much time in the beginning of my YouTube channel, and I think some of that was just, kind of the tax, so to speak, of learning what to do on YouTube. But if I knew then what I knew now, then I would not be spending all of the time that I spent back then to only make $2,000 a year. But like I said, there was one more revenue source that I was earning from. And it didn't matter really about my AdSense on YouTube. It didn't really matter about how many views I got on a video. It didn't really matter about what niche I was in terms of advertisers advertising on my videos. Here's what that other revenue source was. It was that this whole time I was selling digital products on my website. And what I did was I used YouTube as a way to get an audience to see the products that I have, and then I could offer them the products. And I know that maybe that sounds like cold and harsh, and it's sort of weird talking about this because I serve in the ministry space, but essentially what that equates to is I had resources that helped people in the church space, and in order for them to know about it, you have to have some way for them to know about it. And for me, that way was creating a bunch of free, valuable resources on YouTube and then pointing them to my other helpful resources that were paid products. So I just showed you on YouTube over the course of 6 years, I made $12,000, which is about $2,000 a year. Not that much. But let's head over to the back end on my website and see how much I made during the same time period from selling digital products. Here it is. I used Squarespace to run all of this. And we can see back in 2019, I made $240, and then it went basically up and up and up, and then we've plateaued at about $12,000 per year, which, what is $12,000 per year? There's 12 months in a year. That's right at $1,000 a month. And so you can see on YouTube, my total revenue was $12,300 in AdSense, but on my website, I was making right around $47,000. Now, that is over the course of 6 years, but as you can see, as I built that revenue stream, it's hovering for the past 3 years right around $1,000 per month, which is $12,000 a year. And so here's why I'm sharing these numbers with you, is because I think that this is a more realistic understanding compared to some of the videos that I see. Some people are like, I only made $1 or something, but a lot of people are like, I made so much money. And this is what we need to understand about YouTube revenue coming from AdSense. And I'll just show you something here, because this is really what it boils down to. Let me find we'll go for 2026, and I just want to show you this number right here. So this is what I made so far in 2026, but I want you to I want to show you this RPM right here. This is what we need to be looking at, because RPM is basically, well, it says your revenue per 1,000 views. And so what that's talking about is for every 1,000 views that you get on your YouTube channel, this is how much money you'll make. And how do they calculate that? Basically, to simplify it, that is to say that advertisers pay to get their ads on your videos, and depending on what niche you're in, what topic you're talking about, that's how much advertisers are going to be willing to pay. And so depending on what you're talking about, if you're talking about like finance stuff, which finance is one of the highest RPM that you can have, I think they get like $10 to $12, so like literally 3 times more than what I get in terms of RPM. If you're talking about that, then you're going to make a whole lot more money per 1,000 views. But the other thing, and this is what people don't talk about usually, they'll talk about, okay, per 1,000 views, you'll get $4 or something per 1,000 views. But what they don't talk about is also how many people are interested in your niche. And that is the part that I had to struggle with and just come to terms with over these past 7 years, is that it's not just a matter of RPM and getting as many views as possible. It's actually a matter of what niche you're in and how many people are going to watch that. So you can have a high RPM, but if you have an unpopular topic, then you're not going to get as many views. And so we've kind of got to play with both of those dials if you're focused on YouTube AdSense. But here's the beauty of what I've set up, is that I'm not focused on YouTube AdSense. I view YouTube AdSense just like a little cherry on top. Remember, I'm making like $2,000 a year from YouTube AdSense at the most on my best years, and even that I can't control that. I can't control how many views I get. Sure, I can try to make better videos, but really what I'm focused on is not views. I'm focused on getting my videos in front of the right people, not the most amount of people, but the right people, because my main income source for this side income that I've built are my digital products. And because I've been able to get my videos in front of the right people, if I was solely focused on YouTube AdSense and trying to make money from that, then I would only be making $2,000 a year, which is, I don't know how much per month, but it's not very much per month. But because I'm able to get my videos in front of the right people, I have a relatively small audience. Here, I'll go back to my YouTube channel here. I've got like 53,000 subscribers. And on a typical video, I just announced that I'm taking a break for the summer. I've got, 600 views, 500 views. Let's look at this one. Had 11,000 views, which is really good for me. But most of these are right around 1,000 views or 500 views. So my point is, even with those small amount of views, getting like 1,000 views per video on average, I was still able to make $1,000 per month. And here's what I want to show you, is that I am in a very unpopular, unprofitable niche, so to speak. So why am I in that niche? Why do I talk about that topic? And it's because my goal with Leading Worship Well, which is my other YouTube channel, that's what it's called. With that YouTube channel, my goal is not to make $1 million a year. My goal is not to make as much money as humanly possible. My goal is to, yes, make a little bit of a side income, but ultimately my goal is to have fun running that YouTube channel. And it's nice that I can make $1,000 per month on the side. That's not going to feed me for the rest of my life. But here's the other thing that I haven't told you, is that over the past 3 years, since I've gotten my YouTube channel up and running and learned all of the mistakes that I made, how much time do you think I've spent to generate $1,000 per month? I've only spent less than 5 hours a week working on this. Per week, 5 hours or less. And honestly, now it's down to like 3 hours or less, but I'm being generous with 5 hours or less. And I'm sharing this because I'm not some, amazing business person who has it all, figured out and I'm like a genius or something. I'm a normal, everyday guy. I mean, look, I'm filming this video on a webcam that cost $50. I'm using a microphone that cost $100, but that's just because this is what I had lying around. I'm using free recording software. OBS is what it's called. And yet you're watching this video. You've made it this far into a 17-ish minute video. And this is what I want to tell you. Look, I got a curtain hanging up behind me. I'm just sitting at my office chair talking about something that I'm passionate about. And here's the thing. You can do the same thing. This is what I want to tell you. I'm not someone special. I'm not some amazing business mind. I'm a normal, average, everyday person who simply gets on YouTube and talks about what they love to talk about. And I do it 3 hours a week, spending 3 hours a week or less on it. It's actually sometimes it's just 90 minutes a week. And I'm making $1,000 per month on a regular basis. I've been doing it for the past 3 years. And you can do it too. You can do it. Whatever you're passionate about, you can get on YouTube and you can talk about it. Set up a few things in the background and then spend 3 hours a week simply talking about what you love and making $1,000 per month. And that's what this channel is all about, 5 hours to 1K. The concept is that you can spend 5 hours a week or less, which is why sometimes I say 3 hours, but 5 hours a week or less, making $100,000 per month by talking about what you love. And here is the first step. The first step is simply just to start. And that's what this next week's video is going to be all about. It's about how to start your YouTube channel so that you can start doing what I have done for the past 6 years, but do it in much faster of a time frame than I have, because it took me 4 or 5 years to learn the secrets behind this, to make it as simple as possible. And so here is your homework for today. I want you to leave in a comment below. Remember, this channel is all about spending 5 hours or less talking about what you love, and you can make $1,000 per month easily. So the question that you have to figure out first is, what do you love? What's that thing that you want to talk about? Most people tell you start with a niche and get into that niche and figure out what a profitable niche is. Listen, if you want to make $1 million, go do that. But if you just want to talk about what you love and have an extra $1,000 a month, I don't recommend starting there. I recommend starting with what you love. What do you love? What are you passionate about? Leave it in a comment below. And then the second part of your homework for this week is I want you to start planning your first YouTube video. And I know that it can be really hard to come up with that first YouTube video. What is it going to be? And that's why I put together, I'll leave a free link down in the description below, a free PDF called 10 YouTube video ideas that work in any niche. 10 YouTube videos that work in any niche. And these are going to give you the framework for planning your first YouTube video, because these are just general templates that you can kind of plug and play your niche into. And so a video idea might be like 10 things I learned over the past 10 years of leading worship for me. That video is like a classic YouTube title formula. And so you can look through that list, you can pick one of them, and you can start planning your very first YouTube video. And then next week, we'll be talking about how to set up your YouTube video, how to set up your YouTube channel, and how to get going. So if you're interested in that, if this sounds interesting to you, then make sure to click subscribe down below. Leave a comment. Tell me what you're passionate about. Tell me what you want to start a YouTube channel about, something that you could easily talk about in a YouTube channel, something you're passionate about, something that you love. Download that free resource. I'll link it down in the description below. And I'll see you in the next video. We'll keep working on this together.